Hello guys, this is Modest Major here, bringing you some commentary over some Dominion Light gameplay. The score in the background's not too important. Unfortunately, my CSR for Dominion has raised to the point in which I'm not really going to be getting any easy games anytime soon, so it's not really about pub stomping, it's more about teamwork. I believe I capture 5 points in this gameplay, and we managed to pretty much clutch it out, and we play pretty strong in the game. I'm playing with a full team, playing with Carl's commentary, Sort Vengeance, and the Axis. We managed to do a pretty good job, and I know my initial impressions of Dominion Light were a tad on the negative side, and I apologize if I came across overly negative. That most certainly was not my intentions. It's just, there definitely is a couple of problems with Dominion Light, and a couple of the maps don't work too well with it, but I actually really enjoy the playlist, and especially on this map goes by the name of Honeycomb. It's extremely chaotic, but it almost has this arena shooter vibe where you're just going around corners really hectic, fast-paced, and having close quarters combat. Unfortunately, the loadout options are a little bit too diverse. You've obviously still got the bolt shot and stuff like that, and I feel like if you're not using the bolt shot, you're at a severe disadvantage, especially on Honeycomb, where you've got these tight corners. And unfortunately, I have this kind of fight fire with fire mentality. I know some people hate that, but the majority of people on these matchmaking playlists do now use bolt shot, and it's kind of become part of the metagame. So I know it's frustrating, but that's just the way it is. But I had a topic that I wanted to discuss with you guys today. It's regarding the recent E3 schedule leak. Personally, right now, E3 is all that's on my mind right now. I'm so hyped for it. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm so excited to see the Halo stuff, but also just game stuff in general. And basically, there was an E3 leak that's been circulating around the internet, and a couple of the bigger YouTubers have even made videos about it. Boogie2988 made a video on the topic, and he pretty much, you know, regarded it as confirmed. That's how it felt like to me. I only watched his Xbox video, but, you know, in the title, it didn't really say rumors, I don't think, and he didn't really, you know, reference the fact whether he believed it or didn't believe it. It just kind of seemed to be taken at face value. And it's honestly quite a credible list, I would say. The list just seems realistic. There's enough weird stuff going on, and there's enough normal stuff going on, that I just feel like there's a high probability that it could work out, and it could be realistic. So I thought I'd go over them today and ask you guys for your opinions on these games that are coming out, and tell you a little bit of what I feel about them. So first of all is Beyond Good and Evil 2 gameplay on Xbox One. I actually played the original Beyond Good and Evil. I didn't finish it. It has a lot of puzzle game aspects, and I personally am awful at puzzle games, but it's a really well-made game. It was pretty darn underrated, and it saw a bit of a resurgence recently. Basically, Beyond Good and Evil didn't sell that well. I believe it was a bit of a sales failure in some ways, or maybe it just broke even though it had a really big marketing budget behind it. But recently, through Steam sales and just through word of mouth, the game's been gaining a lot of positive press. So as a result, they're apparently making a sequel for it, and I think it could work out really well. They had a really cool camera mechanic in it, where you could take pictures of pretty much everything, and you get scores for certain, you know, pictures that you take. It was a little bit like Pokemon Snap, and I love that mechanic in it. So it'll be interesting to see what that's like. Next up is the DirectX 12 trailer for Xbox One. This could potentially be really exciting. It means that they could improve the processing power of the Xbox One exponentially. You know, a lot of people recently are complaining about how PS4 looks so much better than the Xbox One. You can do 1080p, etc. But DirectX 12 could cancel out a lot of that, and I'm quite excited to see where that goes, so maybe you should watch that. Next is Fable Legends. Personally, Fable 3, I thought was a little bit of a disappointment, and a lot of people seem to feel the same way. I wasn't as disappointed. I still enjoyed it. I personally enjoyed all the Fable games to lesser or greater extent. Fable 1 is always my favorite, though. I love the atmosphere, the story, the morale choices, the weapon choices. There was a lot going on for that game, and it had a huge amount of potential. The sequels and the iterations didn't really catch my attention too much, but I think they're worth a whirl, and perhaps that game will be good. I think it's co-op and stuff, so it could be awesome. Next is Forza Horizon 2. It's a racing game. Personally, racing games are not my cup of tea. I think it could be decent. You know, it's a little bit like Test Drive Unlimited Forza Horizon, with the open world car driving stuff. Personally, I'm just not into simulation racing games. I feel like they're kind of hitting their peak right now, like in terms of graphics. I've already been blown away by games like Gran Turismo 5 in terms of, you know, graphics for car games, and they don't just really visually wow me. I know for some people that'll be exciting, but definitely not for me. Next is Gears of War 4 gameplay for Xbox One. Gears of War, I'm a huge fan of the Gears of War franchise. Gears of War 1 was one of my favourite multiplayer games of all time, and I'm really hoping they can revive the franchise. I used to be a Gears of War YouTuber for some short space of time. I thought it was a really fun, competitive game. The map design was amazing. Gears of War Judgment was obviously a bit of a blowout. You know, it was regarded even worse than Halo 4, and you know, we know how the reception of Halo 4 was. It didn't even meet sales figures, and a lot of people were severely disappointed by it. I didn't personally hate it, but there were only 4 maps in the game, and that was a bit of an insult, and there was a severe lack of content in the game, and that was disappointing. And there are a couple of problems with the matchmaking playlist options. So I really hope they can revive it. Obviously, it's being made by Black Tusk now. Black Tusk comprises of a couple of original members of the Gears of War team, and a lot of new blood as well. So, you know, it's kind of a fresh IP, and we just have to see where it goes. Halo 5 tech demo for Xbox One. This is going to be huge. I really cannot wait to see, you know, what comes of this. I hope it's looking amazing, personally, because the Halo 4 graphics pretty much blew me away, and the fact that they're saying that Halo 5 is going to be 1080, 60 FPS or whatever, I'm pretty darn psyched for that, and I hope it pays off. There's not much more to say. You know, I'm really excited for that stuff, and I hope it's intense. Next is Kinect TV and shows trailer for Xbox One. I hope that isn't a very big presentation, especially with Kinect pretty much going down the pan and not being sold with the Xbox One anymore. There's a version you can get without it. TV and shows was kind of the worst part about the Xbox presentation. It took way too much time out of the presentation. We wanted to see games, and Sony really had a... they kind of stabbed us in the back in terms of like how much more focused on games their presentation was. You know, I don't mean as in they betrayed us or anything, but I just mean as in you know, they kicked us whilst we were down. We had a pretty lackluster presentation, and I feel like Sony picked up on that, and they went all in on the games, and as a result we see PS4 doing quite a bit better sales-wise, and I hope that turns around, because obviously I'm an Xbox fanboy till I die. I love the 360, and I want Halo to succeed, etc. Next, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare gameplay for Xbox One. Call of Duty, I'm on the fence about. You know, I don't want to get too excited. I have this habit of buying into the marketing hype for Call of Duty games and then being severely disappointed. Call of Duty Ghost was not my cup of tea. Black Ops 2 wasn't really my cup of tea. I honestly preferred Black Ops 1. I know a lot of people love Black Ops 2. I don't necessarily think that Black Ops 2 is a bad game. I just didn't really like the netcode. I thought the art style was less interesting than Black Ops 1, and to me it just felt like a less unique game. But that's my opinion. I know loads of people love Black Ops 2, and I'm not trying to slag it off. I know it's a balanced game. I know it can be played competitively, a lot better than any other Call of Duty game, and yeah, I'm sure it's fun, but really, I want something new from Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and if I don't see it, I'm not really interested. Next is Quantum Break. We don't really know too much about Quantum Break as of yet. I'm kind of hoping it will be a good game, but I'm also not getting my hopes up, because all we've seen is CG cutscenes, and it seems to be very vague at the moment. It's made by Remedy, who also made Alan Wake. Alan Wake was very well critically received, so that could be a good game. Like I said, don't want to get too invested. I like the futuristic aspect of it, and the graphics look like they're going to be great, so who knows. Next, Star Wars Battlefront 3 gameplay for Xbox One. This is potentially the thing I'm most excited, other than Halo, for on this list. I loved the old Star Wars Battlefront games. I thought they were absolutely incredible, and I'm really crossing my fingers that DICE are going to nail this. Or EA. I think it might be, you know, like published by a division of EA, but not necessarily specifically DICE. Maybe the people who made Medal of Honor, I'm not really sure. But I'm hoping that they nail it. Star Wars Battlefront had so much atmosphere, so much strong gameplay, and it was one of my favorite games growing up as a kid. It was extremely arcadey. It made a lot of the base elements for what we see in multiplayer games today. It had stuff like domination, conquest. It had really interesting multiplayer modes, and the vehicle play was absolutely incredible. So I'm really, you know, holding out for that being a good game. And then last, but kind of least, is Titanfall DLC gameplay for Xbox One. Titanfall DLC, I can't honestly say I'm too excited for, just because I feel like at this point in time, they should be working on, you know, problems in terms of unlocks and, you know, making the game feel more progressive, like you're achieving something. DLC is not something I care about. Titanfall had a lot of maps. I don't really think maps is the problem. I think it's, you know, switching around elements of the gameplay, adding in more Titans, adding in more content, and having more stuff to work towards. At the moment, the game feels quite a bit hollow, and I'm a little bit disappointed. Well, that's an understatement. I'm very disappointed with where Titanfall went, and maps isn't going to be the thing to fix the game. They're going to have to do a lot more than that, in my opinion, than put out a couple of maps. But we'll have to wait and see. That's pretty much all of the list so far. It doesn't say anything about Halo 2 Anniversary. I thought I read somewhere else that there was Halo 2 Anniversary was confirmed, but maybe I'm reading this wrong. Either way, I am extremely excited to see where this goes, to see Halo 5 being shown for the first time, and yeah, I think it's going to be amazing. I hope you guys all watch E3. I'm going to be like buying energy drinks, buying a bit of alcohol. I'm going to be Skyping with a couple of Halo community members, and we're going to be watching the hell out of it. And I'm probably going to be screaming with excitement, crying, and wetting my pants a little bit. So we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, I've been Modest Major. Hope you guys enjoyed the commentary. Peace out.